everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 3 of Thousand Autumns Donghua, and we've met some pretty interesting new characters last week. We definitely have. I've got my notebook of all my information that I've been gathering, because the last 2 episodes have been a lot of information to take in. So we have Shen Gong, right? Chen Gong. Chen Gong is this like scamp, feels like a tramp from Lady and the Tramp, and he has decided that he wants to follow Shincho, be trained by him, but when they get to a certain point, when they get to our lovely Dongkang location, they're going to go separate ways. He's going to try to go find the Liuhe Gang and join them, and then Shinchao's going to go back to Mount Zhandu, where I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Everyone will welcome him with open arms, and his junior will step down from his promotion. Everything will go perfectly fine, without a hitch, no problems. But we've also met some other people, because Kunye he's assembling a team. He's assembling a team so he can get these 5 books of the Solarity together. And so he has gotten with the Liuhe Gang, and he has gotten the leader, Dao Yansha, and the vice leader, Yu Fuyi. Fuyi is like, she's the one that we saw at the end of the last episode, that they're carrying this chest that supposedly has something important in it. Can't imagine what's going to happen with that. And they're trying to basically get it to a location before the abbot gets a hold of it. So they're at the Chuyun temple, which conveniently is where Shen Gong as well as Shin Chao have ended up. And you, our sweet, as Rose Jennison calls them, which I will now refer to them as the Twink Disciple, has located them. It feels like only a matter of time until Yan Wushi steps in, because he cannot let Shin Chao go alone. He wants to make sure Shin Chao gets his eyesight back. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but I won't be surprised if he steps in to help with this. I won't be surprised at all. So, going with some comments that Patreon has left for episode 1, because I told you all I'd get to those. Roll up my sleeves. Icy says for episode 1, fun fact or fan fact, Yan Wushi and Shin Qingqiu from Scumville and Self-Saving System have the same voice actor, Wu Li. Could not be more different characters. They really could not be. So that range does not go unnoticed. That's pretty impressive. That might make me like Yan Wushi just a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. I said the thing about Yan Wushi wanting Shin Chao to get his abilities back and his eyesight back. Be Happy in the Discord said that Shin Chao is not impressed by Yan Wushi's giant chesticles that are out for all to see, because he can't see them. And it was a mind-blowing moment where I was like, oh, that's why he's not immediately attracted to Yan Wushi like the rest of us are, because he can't see the papas that are right out in front of us, that are just the shamelessness of Yan Wushi. Most Donmai romantic leads that I've seen are fully clothed, mindful and demure, just like keeping it polished. Yan Wushi is slutting it out. Because he's just like, come on, Shin Chao, and Shin Chao can't see. So it gives all the more reason why Yan Wushi would want him to get his eyesight back, so that he can appreciate the sight that we all are appreciating right now. That makes sense. Glad we've got that out there. That was a mind-blowing moment. I was like, oh my god, yes, no, of course. This is why. When he gets his eyesight back, we'll have a whole new angle with this. And then Rose Jennison for episode 1 says, I agree. In a genre that's filled with pretty young boys, or people who look like that no matter their age, it's quite refreshing to see someone like Yan Wushi with a more mature looking design. Yeah, I just got done watching a series where your hair turning white was a sign of like, ho, now get the old folks home ready. So it's very refreshing to see a mature character like Yan Wushi with the white rogue streak, but it being framed as like a strong attribute rather than something that would be detrimental to that strength. So it's kind of cool. It's very refreshing. It's neat to see this. I like this. And plus I'm in my mid-30s, so I'm more attracted towards that. So, you know, long gone are the days of Romania being like, you're a young looking guy. Now I'm just like, you're a baby. So Yan Wushi is definitely checking all the boxes. Rose says, I can definitely see what you mean with the Beauty and the Beast comparison. I sometimes think of them also as an angel and demon pairing. I totally get that. Yeah. Shen Qiao is about as angelic as it comes. Basically Don My Jesus. Although they have some competition from one of the MXTX series, but we're not going to spoil it. But yeah, Yan Wushi definitely. Yan Wushi seems like he's like trying to be a demon, but is he really? We'll get into that, I'm sure, in this story. And then Rose says, Twink Disciple, which is Shen Qiao's sect isn't looking for him, and Yan Wushi's like, it's free real estate. Love it. I love that Yu just kind of goes with it. Yu's just like, my boss likes this guy. All right. So I live. But yes, thank you all so much for the comments. I really appreciate them. I am so excited to get into this episode and see what we get. Last episode was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was not as exposition dumpy as episode 1 was, so it gave our characters a little more time to breathe, and now we're getting into possibly an action scene. Is Yan Wushi going to get involved, or is he going to let Shen Qiao take his bamboo stick and go to town? Or both. We'll see. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, y'all. Okay, so as you all know, we are not going to be watching the OP, so we're going to be starting this at 2 minutes and 25 seconds into the actual episode, so just so you are aware. But let's get started with episode 3 of Thousand Autumns. I'm so excited, and we're going to get this started here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. For the record, these episodes are way too short. By the time you cut down the OP and the ED, these episodes are too short. They're only like 19 minutes, which, you know, is going to make the weeks go by really fast. But at the same time, I'm like, Oh my gosh. Okay. So this series, it gets better and better. I was really worried in episode 1, I'm not gonna lie, because there was a lot of exposition, and I'm like, am I gonna be able to keep track of everything? But I feel like the series, once you get past that first episode, and it's like exposition dump express, as most Donmai are, now that I think about it, you kind of like sort of settle yourself into the series, and you settle yourself into the characters. And Yan Wushi, he is bound and determined to convince our sweet angel baby Shen Qiao that he's like, look, I'm not the type of person that's going to come out and say that it was love at first sight. However, I feel like Yan Wushi is like, how do I convey this without revealing that I'm actually just a big old softie that wants Shen Qiao? I'll just make everything work in our favor around it, so where he has to come and join. But I want to talk about that because I think Yan Wushi, as much as he is trying to like manipulate the situation, he's doing it in the right way, which is what I want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like his character a lot. I really like Yan Wushi. Like Shen Qiao is an angel baby. Badass Jesus of Donmai. Like, him and Shilian could have a contest for that. But I feel like he's such a sweet angel baby. But Yan Wushi is so intriguing, and I just really like him. I'm a sucker for the bad boys, though, in Donmai. I'm a sucker for the bad boys. I'm a sucker for them. I feel like I was a sucker for bad boys in media growing up. I'm a sucker for the bad boys in media that really have a heart of gold. They just have this, they try to externally project this like bad boy energy, but deep down I'm like, oh, you're actually a secret softie. So it's like Kuwabara and Yu Yu Hakusho, Raphael and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, you know, those kinds of crushes that you have as a kid, right? Totally normal. What? Anyway, revealing Romania's like secret kinks. So the Perils at Chuyun Temple is what this episode is called. And that is the Perils at Chuyun Temple. The ballroom blitz at Chuyun Temple is more along those lines. So we get this recap, and I feel like they're just like, hey, let's just show you that Yan Wushi wants Shen Qiao to touch him as much as anything. And Shen Qiao was like, ugh. One thing I love about their push and pull dynamic, and you can just make whatever you want out of that, is that Shen Qiao is not the type of person to be easily swayed. The hearts of men are not so easily swayed, and Shen Qiao proves that. Whereas, you know, Gong is like, hell yeah, let's join Yan Wushi's clan. And Yan Wushi's like, I don't care about you. I'm just using you because I know Shen Qiao has a soft spot for you. And Shen Qiao is like, no. Shen Qiao is like, I told you, sir, I'm going to Mount Zhandu. I'm going to go see my sect. I'm going to go do this. And, you know, I feel like Yan Wushi is in some regards trying to protect Shen Qiao, because I think Yan Wushi has seen the writing on the wall, even though Shen Qiao's kind of in denial about it. He's like, hey, you know, your sect, they just were like, whatever when you disappeared and immediately moved on. Don't you think that's kind of shady? Don't you think that's going to really hurt when you go back and find out that they don't care about you because they didn't look for you very hard? Me and my disciple found you and we weren't even looking for you, you know? I feel like he's trying to spare Shen Qiao from the heartbreak that is going to happen when he returns to Mount Zhandu and realizes that this prestigious sect that he's devoted so much of himself to doesn't care about him to the same extent. Especially UI, who seemed all too eager to take advantage of that promotion instead of looking for his bestie. So I feel like Yan Wushi is just trying to help him, but he also is trying to maintain this badass appearance while doing so. And I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. Yes, please. And Shen Qiao's like, I feel like Shen Qiao is so faithful. It's gonna be, while you would expect Yan Wushi to be all on board with Shen Qiao finding out that his beloved sect is corrupt and that tainting him to make him like a bad boy, you would think Yan Wushi would want that. But I do believe that part of what Yan Wushi likes about Shen Qiao is his like innocent aura, is his purity. I think that's what he likes about him. So he doesn't want that corrupted necessarily, but he's trying to be like, he's like, hey, you could just go ahead and join my sect and just be with me. I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to lead you astray. And Shen Qiao is just too innocent and too pure to do that right now, right? So anyway, I feel like what also made this episode really short was the recap, because it's like a solid minute of the 18 that we get. So Shen Gong is just like sprawled out, slutting himself out in front of Shen Qiao, which he knows Shen Qiao can't see him, so I guess he doesn't care, but it's just really humorous to me. He's like, do you think that they're going to be pleased? They're highly vigilant. And so Shen Gong is just like, you know, I'm going to stand out one day and all these people are going to bow down to me. I like that we're setting up Shen Gong's character because it's clearly making it towards like, okay, he's going to have a character arc. He like wants glory, he wants prestige, but it's like you got to, one, work for that. And two, that's not all martial arts are. They're not just about the glory and the prestige. Lesser martial artists will think that, but Shen Qiao's like, that's not all there is to it. And so I like that we're setting up Shen Gong's character to kind of have these revelations come later on in the series, and we're just planting the seeds of the foundation right now. I really like that. That's really good. So yeah, also Shen Qiao, I like that his hearing allows him to kind of, you know, be on the up and up of everyone moving around him while seeming unsuspecting at the same time. I think that that works really well for his favor. This poor, like, monk at the temple, poor him, he gets taken out by the detective, which I'm like, the detective, usually, you know, you think of, when I think of detectives, I think of Batman, who's like, you know, vigilante justice, but also never kills anybody. That's kind of his MO. That's what makes him very interesting as a character, because he's put in situations where you would think that'd be your only option. This detective, Meng, or whatever his name is, we'll get it in a hot second, he has no qualms with killing people. And I was like, oh, you're not Batman. We are not indeed. But this one monk, okay, I thought it was a woman back when we first, like, saw her at the entrance, because she just had, like, a stereotypical kind of feminine framed face. But I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to assume. But now we know that, no, yeah, it was a woman. And she has an amazing design, and I love her character already. So that's fun. So yeah, so this troupe with the detectives are all coming here. I didn't even expect them to show up, so that's interesting. We got a whole host of people just arrived that I was not expecting. And Gong needs to learn that we don't need to go towards the entrances of buildings. I think Shen Qiao is basically at this point set up. He's like, don't stand in front of the door to a building. You will get attacked and surprised. And Shen Gong's like, what are you talking about, boss? And then he goes up and does. He reminds me of the stereotypical, in the US, we would have Western cartoons where it'd be like a mob boss. And I think of Fat Cat. I think of Heathcliff. But then there would be like a lackey cat or a lackey like mob underling, and they'd be like, they'd have a very stereotypical like generalized Boston accent, and they'd be like, oh come on boss, we get this for you. And I don't have a very good accent, but they'd be kind of sounding like that. Chen Gong fits that stereotype. He matches that archetype pretty well. But yeah, stands in front of the door, you F around, you find out, and that's what Shen Gong does in this moment. So yeah. And so when he says you deserve to die, Shen Qiao is like, no, nobody deserves to die. We're not killing anybody on my watch. Shen Qiao's like, no, Don My Jesus said no. And he's like, we aren't members of a gang. We're just here. I like that Shen Qiao's like, look, we're just here for accommodations. We're staying the night and minding our own business. Y'all carry on and do your own thing. I'm just a blind old beggar. What could I possibly do? And then it doesn't work for him. Also, I love the idea that the bamboo stick that has been given to him by Yan Wushi is like, Yan Wushi considers it this amazing gesture of love. That he's like, I gave you that bamboo stick. You should treat it better. I'm like, I see what you're doing, Don Mai. I see what you're doing. I like it. I like it a lot. It's super cute. But yeah, so then we get like these people in the right wing room of Chuyun Temple. I just love that Yoon Fuyin, she's just like, I just need a vibrator, y'all. I just need to have a nice stress-free day. Can't have anything. She folded like a damn house of cards in this episode. I really thought she would put up more of a fight, but apparently we can't have two badass, super strong-willed female characters in the same scene, so we have to dial it back a little bit. You know, let the men breathe. But I really thought that she'd have like more. I like that shot. It's very pretty. I thought she'd put up more of a fight, honestly. But yeah, so this chest is just a front because it makes sense now. Why would you put the entire volume of Solarity, since we find out it's like a little booklet? Why would you put it in this giant chest? It was all a front. But she faces off against this detective. We get some Matrix slow motion action going on. Fun times. And they both battle it out. And we find out a little bit more about his character. They say that Yoon Fuyi is a dummy, but they just don't have a chance to witness the real power of you. She's really pretty. They animate her and the other woman from the He-Huan sect. They animate them very pretty. I was thinking about this the entire time I was watching the episode, but it reminds me of the animation style of the older Final Fantasy games. Like, I started out playing in the early 2000s Final Fantasy X. And so I kept thinking, watching this episode, I'm like, the animation style kind of reminds me, especially the skin texture, of Final Fantasy X. And that seems like an insult because that series came out like 20-something years ago, but it's not. The animation style, I like it. So it kind of reminds me of that. It feels a little nostalgic even. I'm kind of here for it. And she's like, who are you? I like she has to ask him like 3 times. And he keeps saying Nanyi, like, which, you know what? For him being a detective, kind of checks out that he was trying to give her clues so that she would figure it out herself. He is a detective, so I guess that tracks. He was just trying to, like, play the game with her. He's like, if you just leave the treasures, I'll let you go. And she's like, well, are you from Nanya? I'm like, bitch, he just basically said that. So he's the Imperial Detective. Murong, because he says his name here, Murong Chen. The Imperial Detective of Nanyi. So we need to get this on here. Did we get Nanya in our notes earlier, perhaps? Maybe. Maybe we did. We do know that that Heihuan, we do know that Heihuan is one of the groups that is a part, right? I want to get this right on here. Yeah. Yeah, Heihuan and Fajing and Huanya. Huanya is what Yan Wushi is part of, but Heihuan is part of the same sect. Okay, But Nanyi, I don't believe we've talked about Nanyi. So Nanyi is a new location, and the Imperial detective, like that we've met this guy, is Murong Chin. That's him. He's a little bit of a, I wouldn't call him slimy, but he's not exactly Batman. He's willing to kill people to get what he wants. He's definitely the bad cop. He's not the good cop in the bad cop scenario. So yeah, there's him. And he also has a servant, and we'll get his name in a hot second. But they were after the Solarity as well. So interesting. They were after the Solarity, and he wanted it off her person. And he's like, we're prepared to fight. So yeah, okay. Then this disciple shows up, and I want to get him on there because they have Gong and Qiao have been brought back out into the fray. Yeah, so, all right, Toba, I like his red robes. Toba Liangje. Okay, and he's the one in the red robes. Like him. Yeah, poor Qiao. Qiao is just literally trying to have a good time, get some rest, and these people won't let him sleep. So they come out and start fighting, and they are basically just wanting the Solarity and cornering her. And honestly, I thought she'd put up more than a fight, but she really doesn't. She just tries to, she like basically is like, oh yeah, I give up, take the chest. And I was like, that was quick. The moment she instantly was like, just take the chest and leave us alone, I'm like, girl, who would believe that? Nobody believed that you would just give up the chest without a fight. You should have just fought them and tried to get them to take the chest and go. But yeah, he's like, you clearly have it on your person. Now, he talks about the Solarity, the volume freedom. So we learn about the Solarity that there are 5 volumes, and each of them have a point. Each of them apparently have, I'm just going to put volume A, volume B, volume C, volume D, and volume E, because I don't know what their orders are. But we find out that one is freedom. And another one, we don't know the name of it, but we know that Qiao has read it along with now the freedom volume. So he's read both. He's acquiring these volumes and absorbing them into his body. Yan Wushi's going to make sure that happens. I also like that too, because it feels like Yan Wushi, if you absorb the volumes of the Solarity, we've talked about the idea that these martial art books, it kind of feels, it's reminding me a little bit of Word of Honor, where if you learn a certain cultivation move, it protects you or gives you eternal life or does something like that. It benefits you in a great way. So this series seems kind of similar to Word of Honor in the sense that if you get all 5 volumes of the Solarity, then you're going to have like an advantage over other people, right? And everyone else is trying to collect those volumes as well. So they talk about it in relation to the holy objects. We'll talk about that here in a second because they bring that up. But yeah, he's like, who's hiding in the darkness just come out? Well, multiple people were hiding in the darkness. Fun times. I like Gong just kind of like looking around Qiao, trying to be like, what's going to happen? So there were 3 people in the darkness. 3. One is this woman, one is Yan Wushi, and one is the abbot. So fun times. I was not expecting all these characters to show up all at once, which is great. Also, can we talk about her look? The Solarity, they thought you'd leave with it secretly, but Yoon didn't give them a chance. And Master Murong stepped in halfway. I love this idea that there were like lots of people after this all at once, because normally in the Danmai that I've read, it's like one group of people attack the main character at a time. It's like a beggar gang attacks, or this one person attacks, or a specific sect attacks. You rarely see like different groups with different ulterior motives going after the main character all at once. Usually if you have different groups, they are still working like in an alliance or in a truce. They're helping each other get it. Not in this case. No, Qiao has, I'll put this down here. If I can, no, get it. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay. Drop my marker for Whiteboard Chan. So we have Qiao in the center here alongside, we'll put here Gong. Gong's like attached to him at the hip. So yeah, they're here going after this. But then you have Yan Wushi over here, who he is like, put a little heart. He's like trying to help him. Then you have the Imperial Detective Murong Chen. He is alongside Tuoba, and they're both there for Nanye, who are trying to take the Solarity. So there's that. Then you have Yoon Fuyi. She is there with the Liuhe Gang, while her superior is off, who knows where. They're there, but she's kind of by herself. Like, nobody from the gang is really there, which was surprising to me because she had some people help her, because the one guy sent out the flare that alerted the leader, who is the leader Dao Yansha. They alerted him, but I'm like, she really didn't have a lot of like bodyguards there. I'm like, you guys kind of left her to herself, which is a choice. Then we have the Heihuan sect rep that she's here. We're going to talk about her name in a minute. And then we had the abbot, which the abbot is kind of connected. I'm going to put a little connected back to the Liuhe Gang, because that's who they were trying to track down and get the Solarity to. So they were taking the Solarity to him initially. That was the main goal, was to get him the Solarity to begin with. And then Yan Wushi shows up and is like, nope, that's not what's gonna happen on my watch. So interesting. But yeah, and Shin Qiao was just sitting here like, there's all these different parties. And yeah, none of them are really working together except for the abbot with Yoon. That's pretty much it. I want to talk about her design. I love her shadow moves. Bai Rong, the disciple of the Heihuan sect. Bai Rong freaking would cosplay as this woman. Love her. Okay, Bai Rong. I mean, I like Yoon Fuyi's design so much, but Bai Rong is my jam. High ponytail, the red nails, the black and red. She looks like the love child of Shilian and Huachong. She looks amazing. I love her like kind of spunky, playful attitude. She looks kind of like Princess Jasmine. When Jafar got hold of her, I was like, yes, no. Everything about her look and design, freaking love. Would cosplay as her. She looks amazing. I love her design. I love everything about it. The high pony gets me. Love it. So yeah, she's like, why couldn't we just tear apart the Solarity and divide it amongst all of us? And Murong is like, man, there's a lot of people here. Can we cope with all of them alone? Just surrender the Solarity and I'll release you in the name of the Imperial government. But when he said that, he's like, I'll ensure your safe withdrawal. And I was like, he showed his sword. It's like, no, bitch was gonna attack her. Like, absolutely. And she's like, well, the Heihuan sect is more qualified, to take the Solarity, actually. And like, aren't you the evil girl from the Heihuan sect? I like that all of the sects that are associated with Ryu, like the Heihuan, the Huanye, and I'm assuming the Fajing, like they're all considered evil sects. Interesting. She looks amazing. I love her design. I'm just obsessed. Yes, please. Now, she made the mistake of going after Shin Qiao, and you ought not do that around Yan Wushi. He's not real a fan of that, as it were. So yeah, Yoon tries to get out, which basically seals the fate of being like, you clearly have the Solarity on you. I didn't notice whenever we saw her in the last episode, she has this like olive, kind of the color of my shirt tones, but then she's more like, has more gold on her outfit too. So I loved the three of them facing like Murong, Bairong, Murong and Bairong, love it. Fighting Fuyin, and then like them all coming at a standstill there, which is great. Guy tries to go out and get a flare, manages to get through, and then in the midst of all this going on, Bairong gets shoved back, and she's like, oh, I'll use you, Qin Gong, as a scapegoat. I'll use you. And then Shin Qiao's like, no. This kid's pretty useless. Let's leave him alone. And steps in. And look, just, you should not get involved with Shin Qiao if you're not ready to face Yan Wushi. So this scene where she grabs the bamboo staff And then Murong's like, now's my chance. She lets go of it and like takes a freaking sword through the hand. That would have hurt a lot, especially because her attacks are from her palm. Like, that would have hurt quite a lot. I'm like, yeah, damn. This person seems simple. I like Chen Gong is talking about Shen Qiao. He seems simple, but can stay so calm before so many Kung Fu masters. Well, he's in the top 10. He's in the top 10. He's a really mystical figure. Now, they established that Murong is like one of the top Kung Fu masters of Nanya. So I don't know if that means he's in the top 10 overall. I mean, we only really know the top 3 plus Shen Qiao, who's in there. So 4. So he could be one of the top ones. He could be one of the top 10. We'll see. But yeah, so then she tries to run out. Doesn't work. And then the abbot comes in. And she gets... I freaking am obsessed with the look. Like, when Byron gets her hand, like, stabbed, and then she looks over to Shen Qiao, and she gives him kind of like that little quirky little, like, cocky grin. She's like, bitch, you caused me to get my hand stabbed. Now you gotta pay. And she's like, you're really handsome, but it's none of your business. And she, like, goes to grab him, and he puts the bamboo staff in between her. She's like, I didn't expect you to have some skills, but unfortunately, you have no inner power at all and are doomed to death. And she throws the bamboo staff over and goes after him and grabs his throat. And at that point, I was like, oh no. At that point, Yan Wushi's off screen in the Michael Jordan pose in the chair, and he's like, and I took offense to that. Because I'm like, oh my girl, I wondered if Yan Wushi was going to get jealous that she, like, takes notice of Shen Qiao, but then she threatens Shen Qiao, and I'm like, you just don't do that when Yan Wushi is anywhere near the vicinity, because he's gonna take some offense to that. So yeah, so the abbot shows up, and I was like, okay, this abbot has arrived. Abbot Chuyun. Okay, so we have Abbot Chuyun, who is the top master of the Tianti sect. Which is interesting, because I'm looking at my notes here. And we had thought that Abbot Chuyun was with Baifeng, but he is not. He's with Tianti. So we're gonna have to change that. I'm gonna have to, like, update my information here. So now we know that the Abbot Chuyun is with Tianti, and Yi Bishan, who is with Baifeng. What's interesting is that that Yi Bishan was with the Chunyang Temple, so maybe that's a different temple, but he's with Mount Qingchang, and he's with Baifeng, and he has a book. Okay, so the abbot, as far as we know, with Tianti, he already has one of the volumes of Solarity, so we're going to put him up here. One of the volumes of Solarity is with the abbot Chuyun. So one of the volumes was with him. And then we have that Yi Bishan supposedly has one of the books. And then the other book was with Shen Qiao. And then, let's see, Kunye has one of the books. Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. No, actually, yeah, this is correct. Shen Qiao has got the book, but this was the book that was supposed to go to Abbot Chuyun. Oh, because one of the books, nobody knows what's happened to it. One of the 5 volumes is, like, hidden, and we don't know where it's at. Okay, but the book, the Freedom volume, was supposed to go to Chuyun, the abbot. He was supposed to get it from the Liuhe Gang that is associated with the Tianti sect. Okay. Well, it's either one of the two things. Either the abbot already has one, and this one that Shen Qiao has is the one that Kunye was giving him. Maybe we're going to say it's Kunye or the abbot. Kunye or abbot. One of the two. Was Kunye's, I'm going to add to my notes, was Kunye's supposed to go to the abbot in addition to his own collection. See, I don't know about that because Kunye seems like he wants to gather all 5, so I don't know. That doesn't seem like it would be in his best interest to give up his volume to the abbot. You'd think he'd want to collect them, so it's like, I don't know. I'm curious about that, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, he shows up, and I love his ability. I love the big gong, and then like all the golden Buddha that comes up. Like, I freaking love it. It's visually really cool. I love it. Just pushes people back. And then, yeah, Yan Wushi knocks Bairong away. And he's like, excuse me, that's my boyfriend. And I like the abbot's like, why is he here? Why is Yan Wushi here? And he's like, look. And then Yan Wushi showing up, grabbing the bamboo stick. And he's like, this is my gift to you. I freaking love Yan Wushi. I love his over-the-top evil villain laugh. It gets me every time. I love he's just like, I gave you this bamboo stick, Shin Qiao. Don't you love me? He has to know that Shin Qiao is so stoic, so serious. And he's like, yeah, okay. I love their dynamic of Shin Qiao being stoic, serious, Don my Jesus. And Yan Wushi is just like slutty, hilarious, trying to be faux stoic, like just demon baby. I live for this dynamic. I love it so much so far because they're just such good foils for each other. And what I like about this is I'm going to talk a little bit about Heaven Official's Blessing for a hot second. It's not really a spoiler. You learn about it at the beginning of the story, so it's not really a spoiler. It's just a comparison. But if you don't want to listen to it, just like skip ahead 30 seconds to like do this. Okay. But what I like about this is in comparison to Hua Chong in Heaven Official's Blessing versus Yan Wushi, what I like is that like Hua Chong has this reputation where the moment his name is uttered, everybody's like, and they don't want to like face him. But we don't really get to see Hua Chong interact a lot with anybody else in the series except for like a few scant times. Mostly it's just him and Shi Lian. But he just has this reputation and people just avoid him. Here, what I like is that some of them know Yan Wushi. Like the abbot knows Yan Wushi and he's like, why is he here? But they're all interacting, but Yan Wushi has like a more mysterious vibe to him, like a more mysterious presence where they know him, they know he's strong, but they're also kind of like, why are you here? Why are you like protecting Shin Qiao? Like this beggar, what are you doing? And it's a little bit more mysterious and it's not so much like Yan Wushi's not like positioned as this omnipotent force that they can't interact with. And I really like that. I like that, end of spoilers. I like that like presence that he has in this scene. It's a fun time. I enjoy it. And he's like, I wonder why Leader Yan is here. And his little like upturned boots. And he's like, what do you question about my presence when even a monk's here? I like that Yan Wushi's saying, he's like, why is it weird that I'm here when you're here? Isn't that weird too? I like that a lot. So yeah, oh man. And he's like, no joke. Yeah. So then everybody's just kind of like, well, what do we do? And he's like, what does he say there? I think it's the abbot talking there where he says, of my people and me, if I surrender the remaining volume of the Solarity. So if you are righteous, then I'll certainly do my best. Okay. So it seems like the abbot and Fuyin, they're all working together. She pulls out the volume, and then Yan Wushi's like, yoink! He's like, glad you showed that real quick, girl, but I'm pretty fast, and I'm going to take that for myself. Freaking love it. He's like, this is the Solarity. And so the abbot's like, bitch, that's mine. He's like, no, actually, it's none of y'all's. And what I like is that Yan Wushi, he gets past the abbot. I love the fight scene. I love it so much. And then while this fighting is occurring, Shin Qiao is like, hey, let's get out of here. Let's just leave now while we have a chance. Let's go. And that's when Yan Wushi grabs not only Shin Qiao, but also him. He's like, what did he say here? He like fear of heights. I have acrophobia. He's like, I have a fear of heights. Poor Chen Gong is fear of heights. I love it. Yan Wushi just like tractor beams him to the top of this tower, which is great. And I like that Yan Wushi tractor beams Chen Gong up there, but he probably grabs Shin Qiao. He's like, I'll grab you, sir. Don't worry. What I love about this scene is that Yan Wushi does not take the Solarity for himself. Not really. He is trying to like make sure that he wants Shen Qiao to be Captain Planet and absorb all 5 Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Heart, go Planet. He wants Shen Qiao to absorb all 5 of the volumes to like help him. And I'm kind of like, I like that. And Shen Qiao's like, we just wanted to stay the night. We wanted nothing else to be involved. I love the symbolism of them being in the cradle of the Buddha. I love it. He's like, debts and hatreds have their obligations. He's like, don't bully us, Leader Yan. And I just love the expression that Yan Wushi has whenever Shen Qiao's like, don't bully us. He's like, bully? Me bully? That expression is amazing. He's like, this isn't bullying at all. He's like, I want to give you a great merit. I have something in hand that is desired by all in the world. Don't you feel curious at all? And Shen Qiao's like, no, not really. And he's like, oh, you don't need to involve irrelevant people. He's like, oh, you're calling my boyfriend irrelevant? No. You want to know its content. I have an idea. All the people can share it. If I read it out, you won't trust me. If you read it out, I don't trust you either. So here's a good candidate to read it out. I kind of love this. I love that Yan Wushi is saying, you all won't believe me and what I say about the Solarity. You don't trust me. I don't trust any of you to say the right thing. So instead, let's have someone who's pure of heart, pure of mind, read out the Solarity instead. And then, of course, Bairong's like, well, he can't read. And Yan Wushi's like, bitch, the power of my cultivation will allow him to temporarily. It depends on the ability to keep in mind whatever you hear. And she's like, are you kidding? How can he read it? Now, of course, this begs the question of if he can use his powers to allow Shen Qiao to read in this instant, one would question why he doesn't use the powers to restore his sight completely. But I feel like Yan Wushi is one, maybe not able to completely restore it permanently yet. Or he wants Shen Qiao to request it, or he wants Shen Qiao to like, maybe Shen Qiao's pride, he's worried about that. So in any case, he uses his power to get our dear sweet Shen Qiao to read the volume. Yep. Which is interesting. And so then we have him open his eyes. He looks down. He's like, read it out. And that's when he opens it. And he says, freedom in the spleen, incubated freedom, inborn faith. The world is full of Tao. And it's like, he's digivolving right on the screen for us. It is void in nature. Its impacts are intangible. All objects are intangible. I love him just absorbing it all. One can be silent, calm, and pleasant without impact and disturbance. One fosters souls to purge desires and ends up in righteousness. Dilute the emotions of joy and anger and kill the source of love and hatred. Good luck will come naturally, and bad luck will disappear by itself. I love the candles coming out, is what Leader Yan said that I used to practice the Solarity. Oh, so in that moment, he's thinking to himself, he's like, is this true? Like, Yan Wushi said I was practicing the Solarity, but is this right? He's like, will special effects be generated upon combining the volumes? I don't know. Seems like Yan Wushi might be onto something, trying to help you, improve your skydancing ability. Maybe. But yeah. And so then he starts to lose his vision. And whenever he starts to fall off the cliff and Yan Wushi like grabs him and throws him back in his arms, I'm like, censors be damned. Censors be damned. I'm like, you are so smooth, sir. And Shen Qiao's like, no. And he's like, I can't believe he destroyed it. He's like, did you hear it? Did you got it? Good. And then he just like ripped it up. Like this sacred document that we've been searching for of 1 of 5, melted it down like a Mew card at a GameStop. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's gone. That's it. Bye-bye. He's like, hope Shen Qiao remembered it. Crazy. He already read it out. It's gone. So hopefully y'all took notes. So, okay, when he's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, did he write the notes on his arm? Because Murong gets onto him, but then he's like, well, what else am I supposed to do? He's going to destroy it. And then Murong's like, shit, yeah, I probably should have wrote it down too. And then the abbot's like, bitch, I'm leaving. This party sucks. He just blares Joyride by Kesha and gets out of there. And I love Yan Wushi's laugh where he's like, ah ha ha. He's like, what an old monk. You do leave, right? So out in the suburbs, as the subtitles say, our dear leader of Liuhe Gang shows up, and he's about as incompetent as they come. Because, yeah, Dao Yanshan, he's all sunshine and rainbows till the abbot's like, bitch, the thing's gone. Like, the deal is off. Nobody got it. It's been destroyed. I like that this monk, the abbot, he's just like, if you don't get out of my way, I will resort to physical violence. He can't say that he's pissed, but he's saying that he's pissed. I was like, ooh, all right. And then, yeah, he's like, didn't you? He's like, your signal was received too late. He's like, the Solarity is gone. Yep. And then we go back to after everybody has left. And, well, not everybody has left. Fu Yin gives the bamboo stick back, which is sweet. I like that Yan Wushi stuck around. He wasn't going to leave without having the last word. He's like that crush that stays behind at a party and waits till everybody else disperses. And then he's like, okay, now it's just the two of us. But yeah, the bamboo stick is given back from Fu Yin. I'm glad that Fu Yin was not like pegged off as a total like villainous. I feel like Bairong was given more of that title than her. She just was like a victim of circumstance almost at this point. But I like that in a way because if Chen Gong eventually decides that he wants to go to the Liuhe Gang, we've established and set up a way for that to work. Because Fu Yin's like, oh yeah, you were with Xin Qiao, so you guys are cool. I like that we've set that up that it's okay. Yeah. And so then I like that Yan Wushi is just stalking. He is circling the two of them like prey. He is circling like a shark in the water, y'all. It's ridiculous. He's like, we don't expect to get involved. And she's like, what did you just read out now? And he's like, oh, Qiao. He calls him Qiao already. I'm like, bitch. He's like, Qiao, you are a walking Solarity now. You have only two choices. First, follow me. Second, follow me too. And of course, I feel like at this point, Yan Wushi knows that Xin Chao's going to say no. But he's like, you're a walking target. They're going to try to get at you. He's like, her name isn't as effective as my name. I like there's a little bit of jealousy to Yan Wushi there where he's like, don't join her, join me. I'm the more influential person. And Qinggong's like, yes, let's join him instead. And Xin Chao's like, no. He's like, no, leave him alone. We don't need his protection. And Yan Wushi's just like, oh, you don't want to come with me? Just, God, I love it. I love this cat and mouse back and forth between them. I was not expecting this when I started. I was not expecting this when I started it because, you know, you see Yan Wushi and he's the stoic, mature, older man type. And you're like, oh, he's going to be this like big brooding, you know, beast of a man. And really, no, he's just like got a villainous, cartoonish laugh. And he just wants to try to get Xin Qiao to join him. And he's doing it in the most Megamind-esque way. And I'm here for it. I love it. It's great. And one thing I do really like about his character, and is that the end of the episode? Yeah, that's the end. He like bounces off into the abyss, and that's the end of the episode. One thing I really like about his character is he doesn't push the parameters of consent, which I'm like, I was wondering, because sometimes in Danmai, sometimes that parameter of consent gets forced a little bit. And what I like is that when Xin Qiao says no, he respects it. He still tries to like weasel his way around. He's like, are you sure? Are you sure? But when Xin Chao's like, no, I don't want you anymore. I don't need your help. Go away. He does. He leaves. He's like, you'll eventually, I feel like Yan Wushi is like, eventually you're going to come over to the dark side, but I'm going to let you know the door is always open if you want to come join me, but you don't want to right now. That's fine. That's fine. I'll go on my way, but I'll be in the background waiting for you to change your mind. But he never pushes that barrier of consent, at least not yet. And I like that. I'm like, good. No, Shin Qiao is capable of making his own decisions. He's like, okay, I'll give you a bamboo stick, whatever. He still has his sword. So that's eventually going to have to come up, but not yet. So now the abbot, the question is the abbot going to go spread the word to everyone else about the shenanigans that have taken place? Who else is going to spread about the shenanigans that have taken place? We don't know, but tis remains to be seen. So anyway, I really like this episode a lot. This was a lot of fun. I've got to update my notebook now with new things. So that's exciting. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below of what you thought of this episode, what you think of these characters that popped up. Please no spoilers, but I'm excited to hear your thoughts as in terms of this episode encapsulated. So in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'm back very soon with more of Thousand Autumns. Bye.